I made a post about this recently. It feels like the church hates itself and wants itself to die. Here's what I mean. I was in Europe and was there for 3 months, just got back, and Croatia was phenomenal. A lot of faith in Croatia. But I was in Austria, and no doubt there's good people in Austria, good Catholics in Austria, but I would go to these different churches, and you've got these glorious churches that were built hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
But then they plaster them with these childish posters or advertisements for upcoming concerts or religious art that has never inspired anyone at any time. And it feels like self-hatred. It feels like you're embarrassed to be Catholic, and so you're trying to change it. And we can tell you're trying to change it by the emphasis you're putting on these weird aesthetics.
Right.
I was in Vienna. My wife and I went to this glorious Gothic church, which was locked, and so we couldn't go in to pray, but we could pay money for a light show that they do at that church. Look it up online. It's a real thing where they, lights, who knows, smoke machines.
Light show?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's very beautiful. You go into the church, you sit down, and they talk about creation through displaying lights all over the cathedral or something like this. But it just seemed to me that, we hate ourselves and we're embarrassed to be ourselves and we're trying to make ourselves something that we aren't. That's what it felt like. So when you talk about a losing strategy, I'm saying the same thing, I think. That is, why do you hate yourself? You don't have to hate. It reminds me, and this is the analogy I use that upset everybody, and maybe it'll upset you, I don't know. There are examples of beautiful women. Most people aren't beautiful, right? But there are some people who are beautiful, and then they make themselves ugly. This is clearly something that's happening.
Yeah, the actress who plays Wednesday shaved her eyebrows, and that's like her deal now.
All these women, they tattoo themselves, they chop their hair off, they dye it blue, they put piercings throughout their face. You're clearly uglier now.
Yes,
and I think, and now maybe there's a multitude of reasons why people do this. Maybe it's the desire to not have attention. Maybe it's punk rock. Fair enough. But I also think another reason is self-hatred, that I don't love myself, and if I did, I would become beautiful again. And I see the church in different instances hating itself, and I want to invite us to stop.
I'm with you. I agree with everything you said. It doesn't offend me in any way, shape, or form. People uglify themselves because they want to mark themselves as a thing so that other people can seek them out. It's the same way, like if you're a gay man, you dress a certain way to attract other gay men so that they can kind of know, right? Okay. You're on the hunt, as it were. And I think that most of people's self-expression when it comes to uglifying themselves is like, hey, I have the right opinions. Come over here. This is me. You can talk to me about it. I'm safe. I'm one of the good ones. That's like their deal.
Okay.
And I think that's where that's coming from.
Okay.
But in any case, the church just trying to destroy itself is so fun. It's a testament to the church's strength that we've been trying to destroy ourselves off and on for 2,000 years. And God is like, no, you can't.
Well, because my fear is we're talking into a rootless generation, right? A generation that doesn't have any history, that is sort of, maybe the millennials, we severed ourselves off from that. Don't trust authority.
Yes.
Don't be proud of your traditions or your heritage or your race or anything. Whether you came from Italy or England or Africa or wherever. And so now we're just like floating through the void, and we realize that's no way to live, and now we're desirous of tradition again. I want to belong to something. I want to be part of a larger epic tale. And so now when we evangelize, when people listen to Pints with Aquinas and they want to come into the church, we're looking for the beauty of tradition. And then we're like, why did we give that up? Why did we sell that?
Can I tell you a metaphor that I'm thinking of that my brain is just putting into my head?
Do it.
So there's this giant landmass, and boomers are on the landmass. This is human history and tradition.
Okay.
We've kept parents good enough, the kids are secure enough that almost everyone is expressing themselves authentically. Okay. So when someone is weird, it's authentic, and that doesn't break society. So weirdos are good. They're an expression of authentic, whatever. So things are going well. Then boomers, the greatest generation happens, and boomers need to separate themselves and define themselves. Everything is easy for them. Their parents saved the world, yada, yada, yada. It's a lot of pressure. So boomers go insane. They have the easiest of anyone who's ever had it in society ever. Boomers won history, right? American boomers or Western boomers specifically. So they go, we don't want anything to do with you. And they detach themselves with poles. with us, the generations they make attached to them. So they separate themselves completely to define their own identity. So they're apart from the whole. So every single other person in history is over here on this floating island. Boomers all separate themselves. We're going to create a new world. In this new world, things are going to be even easier and better and sleeker. And we're all going to have houses and we have all this money. And they raise us without all this stuff over here. They don't do the best job, but I'm not saying all boomers are bad, but look, we all kind of agree what a weird generation that was. And they kind of raised us weird, and the world is weird now because of it, right? So that we all have it easy, but not as easy as our parents. We're the first generation, and then the generation after us, the generation after us, for it to get worse, right?
Okay. I mean, I don't know how much I agree with all these premises.
Sure.
I think I've had it easier than my parents did in some regard, but not in what mattered, maybe.
Right.
That I wasn't bestowed an identity, and I was. We had a family that lived close by and things like that. But so
I think I had it easier than my parents, for sure. My parents had a go of it, right? They had hard lives. But still, we're here. Like, we've separated ourselves culturally. We're going into the future now, right? That's like kind of the deal. And as we are all doing this, we're like, well, we don't like the boomers. You guys separated yourselves because you had it so easy and you needed your own identity. We're going to do ours.
Push off from you.
But instead of all of us pushing off from them together, we all just swam off in different directions. Ultimate freedom. I'm out of here. Who's coming with me? And then we just swam out together, and every little group and pocket of millennials and zillennials and everyone, we all just went out into the water. Well, it turns out if you just swim out for freedom, you're free, but you drown eventually, right? And we're alone and we can't help each other. And so we're all out here just drowning because we wanted freedom, and we all left the island. Was the island not good? It wasn't good. It should have been attached to the big one. But so we're like two problems removed and hurting ourselves. Does that make, that's truly like that. How I feel.
So it's like, okay, so you get an island, and then maybe the boat is of the boomer. By the way, I don't even know what a boomer is. I know people use it pejoratively. I'd love you to explain.
It's the generation that raised us.
Yeah, but I don't know what's wrong with them. Why does everyone always critical of boomer? I actually don't know. I'm not making a statement.
They had so financially, you could have just had a minimum wage job and bought a house. College costed
easy. Okay.
College costed like a 20th of your income. It was crazy,
So it's not, you're saying it's not their fault that they had it easy.
No, not at all. Their parents worked incredibly hard, and then their parents said, we won World War II, we did everything, Vietnam is over, boom.
Okay.
Live your life. Or they fought all these wars, they did it. So we fought all the wars, have all the peace, have all the money, whatever. And then boomers were just like, kind of, it's the Tyler Durden thing. Where Gen X, he says we work jobs we hate to buy things we don't need to impress people we hate.
Yeah.
We have no great war. Ours is a spiritual war.
Okay.
Chuck Palahniuk. It's a pretty good book. But Fight Club, a really interesting book considered Chuck Palahniuk as a gay man.
So I'm thinking, okay, you get an island, and maybe then the boomer is what's the boat?
Yeah. They leave the island.
Itself from the island.
Yeah.
And then we're all either in dinghies who are slowly drowning, or we're swimming from the dinghies,
or we swam out.
And so what does the island represent?
The island,
it seems like it's a lot more of a stable, grounded thing.
The island represents safety. It represents tradition. It represents humanity, and it represents striving towards
the natural, proper way to live, maybe attached to the earth.
Right. Exactly. It's stable. It works. It's there, and it always has worked.
Wow.
And and so human flourishing is on that island.
This would be an amazing short story, right?
Right.
Well, you don't use the language of boomers or millennials. You just have this group of people who are done with the island. They set off to give their children a better life. Their children have only ever known the boat.
Right.
The children then get into dinghies. Then there's not enough room in those dinghies, so people have to swim.
So many of us.
And then you've got some people who are trying to swim back to the island.
That's us.
Okay.
We are swimming back to the island, and a bunch of us are now making it. We're in 2025. So many of us have swum back to the island, and we're on the island going, you guys got to get back over here. And there's people in dinghies, and they're like, actually, but we want to do this. And we're like, listen to me. You are eating rations, and you are sunburned, and nothing is going on in that dinghy. You're going to die. On this island, there's we have a Chuck E. Cheese. we have a freaking David Buster. Like we got video games, we've got pizza, we've got animated rats. We are killing it over here. You got to get on the island, you know?
Hey, thank you very much for watching that. This is the part of the video where I ask you to kindly like and subscribe. And if you want to go one step further, offer one Hail Mary for the work of Pints with Aquinas and all the people that we are reaching. God bless.